Hello everyone and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. I hope you're having a brilliant day, because what we're about to unpack has been simmering in whispers, brewing in DMs, and now it's bubbling over into something we can finally talk about. Yes, the rumors you've seen floating around might be far more than wishful thinking. As you've guessed from the title, tonight is all about Ozan Baba and Sinem, the duo whose spark once sent fans into a frenzy and who now, according to persistent industry chatter, could be on the verge of something huge. Buckle in, because this story has nostalgia, ambition, and a tidal wave of emotion. Before we rush into the juicy details, a quick moment from me to you. If you love the energy, the late-night scoops, and the behind-the-scenes whispers we bring, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and tap that bell so you never miss a beat. Every like, every comment, every share keeps this community alive and pushes us to dig deeper for the insights you crave. Now, back to the rumor lighting up timelines. For those who are newer to this saga, Ozan Baba and Sinem didn't just cross paths, they collided in ways that made people talk. From a buzzworthy awards night sketch where the banter felt just a bit too natural, to a sleek campaign shoot that practically vibrated with chemistry, they quickly became the pairing that fans couldn't stop imagining on screen. Edits exploded, fancasts multiplied, and for a little while it felt like maybe, just maybe, the dream would leap from fantasy into reality. There were snapshots of them smiling at the same events, soft looks caught in hurried paparazzi frames, and a flurry of hopeful speculation. But as it often goes in this world, life and timing had their own plans. Their paths curved apart, each taking on projects that demanded their full attention, and that shimmering possibility faded into a bittersweet what if. Well, hold on to that what if, because it might be turning into a why not right now. Word swirling through production circles suggests a new series is quietly being prepped, ambitious, glossy, built for a global audience, and the bold bet at its core is nothing less than bringing Ozan Baba and Sinem together as co-leads. The idea is simple, but the stakes are sky high. Take the electricity that once made everyone lean in, and build an entire world around it. Can you picture it? Two performers who have grown in their craft, carrying maturity and gravity, stepping into a story that's tailor-made to ignite that spark and push it into a roaring fire. Let's be clear, we're still in the territory of whispers and carefully phrased hints. No official announcement. No poster. No teaser. Yet the consistency of these murmurs is what makes this feel different from the usual fantasy casting. People connected to early development stages say a romantic drama with dramatic tension and high emotional stakes is on the table, with a production team that's studying what made audiences fall so hard for this pairing in the first place. Not a remake, not a rehash, but a fresh canvas that captures the essence of what fans adored, the unguarded looks, the quicksilver wit, the pull and push of two magnetic personalities, while giving both stars new terrain to conquer. And let's talk about who they are now, because that might be the biggest ace up this project's sleeve. Ozan Baba has carved a reputation as a leading man who brings grit and soul in equal measure. From hard-edged roles to layered, quietly explosive performances, he cemented his place with audiences who trust him to anchor a story. Meanwhile, Sinem has been dazzling in her own right. Sharp, versatile, luminous, shifting from vulnerable sincerity to fierce resolve with the kind of ease that makes directors sit up and pay attention. She's carried series that drew passionate followings, charmed critics, and sparked conversations far beyond Turkey's borders. Together, they look like the perfect storm, a combination of technical craft and instinctive chemistry that feels ripe for a grand return. Here's what makes this rumor more tantalizing. If these talks solidify, we're not just looking at a series, we're potentially witnessing a cultural moment. The script, said to be in active shaping, is rumored to weave romance with slow burn mystery, the kind of plot that lets tension simmer between every line. Think international settings, a signature score, stylized visuals, and those quiet scenes where a glance does more than a page of dialogue. The show would aim straight for the global market, tapping into streaming audiences who adore Turkish dramas and are constantly hunting for their next obsession. And front and center, the two names whose pairing could get viewers pressing play before they even read the synopsis. Of course, the big question is the dynamic. After time apart and major success in separate lanes, what happens when Ozan and Sinem step into the same scene again? Does the spark erupt in the first table read? Do they find a new rhythm, more grounded, more deliberate? Do they choose a story that lets them play with tension rather than rushing toward it, so that every episode becomes a slow dance between fate and choice? Fans are split between starry-eyed hope and cautious optimism, but the common thread is clear: everyone's ready to see what this pair can do when the moment is finally right. There's more. The team allegedly circling this project is said to include writers known for dialogue that feels alive and precise, the kind that actors fall in love with because it gives them room to breathe. There's talk of a director with a taste for intimate frames, the kind that makes silence feel like a confession. Early location scouts, if accurate, hint at a blend of Istanbul's moody waterfronts with a European city that brings a cosmopolitan sheen. Think dusky blue nights, wandering streets, and a story that follows two people who keep finding each other just when they think they're lost. It's the sort of creative package that doesn't just rely on star power, but amplifies it. And while all of this stirs behind the curtain, social media is doing what it does best. Edits pairing Ozan and Sinem are climbing again, fan accounts are unearthing every clip, every photo, every frame where their names were said in the same breath. Thread after thread dissects their styles, their strengths, the arcs fans want to see. Some want enemies to lovers with scandal and sharp dialogue. Others dream of a tender second-chance romance laced with secret histories. There's even a cluster calling for a thriller-romance hybrid, where trust becomes the most dangerous gamble. Whether you're the cautious type or the hopeless romantic who's already planning a premiere night watch party, one thing's undeniable: the appetite is real. Now, let's add context. This potential reunion doesn't exist in a vacuum, it could be transformative for both stars' current trajectories. For Ozan, it's a chance to channel a more romantic intensity without shedding the steel that made him a favorite in high-stakes roles. For Sinem, it's an opportunity to lead in a story that lets her balance vulnerability and strategy, that quietly demonstrates the range she's earned. If done right, this project could help redefine the on-screen couple for a global era of Turkish storytelling, not just swoon, but substance, not just hype, but heart. Will pressure be a problem? That's the shadow hovering over every beloved pairing. When audiences remember a feeling, a moment, a smile, a spark, expectations can become a wall instead of a wind. But that's where craft comes in. A good script can turn pressure into fuel. A patient production can translate nostalgia into momentum. And when two actors trust the story and each other, something beautiful tends to happen. That's the dream that's pulling so many eyes toward this rumor and holding them there. Of course, it's worth underscoring what we know and what we don't. We don't have an official confirmation. We don't have a release window. But we do have consistent murmurs from people who don't usually chatter unless there's a reason. We have a market hungry for exactly this type of series. And we have two stars whose names together generate the kind of instant electricity that executives can't ignore and fans can't stop talking about. If this sparks into reality, expect rollouts that feel like an event, an unveiling of the title with a teaser that leans into mood over plot, a behind-the-scenes reel where laughter breaks the tension, first-look photos that launch 1,000 theories, and a premiere that turns into a viewing ritual across time zones. Imagine the interviews where Ozan and Sinem reflect on timing, trust, and the art of finding the right project at the right moment. Imagine the fashion, the soundtrack, the quiet Sunday night episodes that land with a soft ache and stay with you all week. And here's a thought that keeps coming up: maybe this isn't about recreating a lost moment. Maybe it's about creating a new one that belongs to who they are now. The fans who watched them grow, the industry that's evolved, the global audience that's ready, this could be the intersection where everything lines up and the story writes itself in hearts before it ever hits the screen. We're watching, we're listening, and as always, we're keeping our ear to the ground so that when whispers turn into words, you'll hear them here first. Turkish Spotlight secrets will be on every detail, from the earliest hint of a table read to the last red carpet twirl. Until then, let yourself imagine it: the glances, the tension, the dialogue that slides like velvet and cuts like glass, the chemistry that lights a cold room. Let yourself hope, because sometimes hope is the first step toward the moment we've all been waiting for. So, to wrap it up in a bow, the talk is real, the interest is massive, and the possibility of Ozan Akbaba and Sinem Unsal leading a new, internationally aimed romantic drama is closer than it's been in years. No hard confirmation yet, but momentum is mounting, and every sign points to a project designed to give these two the stage they deserve together. If it lands, it won't just be a series, it'll be a phenomenon. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you're as hooked on this possibility as we are, drop your theories in the comments. What kind of story do you want for Ozan and Sinem? Which tones, which twists, which unforgettable moments? Don't forget to like this video, share it with the friend who still sends you their favorite edits at 2 a.m., and make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets with notifications on. We'll be here, night after night, keeping the spotlight where it belongs and the secrets flowing just until they're ready to be told. And when the day comes, when the title drops and the first teaser hits, we'll press play together and let the story begin.